Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm your host, Ali Hammer, and today we're interviewing Mina, the co-founder of Different. Mina, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you start by telling us a little bit about Different?
Thanks so much for having me. Different is our first and foremost, our goal is about rebuilding property management. I think it's such a negative experience today for owners, for tenants, for tradies, for property managers themselves. And it's such an important part of people's lives, right? It's your home, it's your sanctuary, it's where you go. And so I think for us, that's the first thing, is creating a really positive experience around investment properties. But ultimately, the way that we've always thought about Different is that we are a home company. So today, Different is the assistant for your investment property home. But ultimately, what we've always thought Different is, and where we see it going today, tomorrow, and in the future, is to be the assistant for any home, anywhere, for any person.
It's so fantastic to hear how you've used technology to redefine the property management industry. So Mina, why did you choose the cloud? Because I imagine this was a pretty big decision for any new company.
Yeah, I think a really critical part of it, right, is that, and it's funny because, in this post-COVID world, so much has changed. And yet, in some ways, for us as a company, really nothing's changed at all. In that we've always thought about work isn't about the place in which you do it, it's about the outcomes, right? It's about what ultimately happens for you, for your customers, for your users. And I think really like the cloud is the best way to enable that, right? And especially as a startup, building on AWS, I think is such a natural choice because people know it and they trust it. And I think that's such a big thing, right? Is when you're building a company from scratch, there are so many opportunities for things to go wrong. And the one thing that at any chance that you can take to be like, I know that works, I trust it. And that's one thing that I don't have to worry about going wrong. I mean, I think that for us is really one of the key things, right? There's not many decisions like that, but that's definitely one of them.
It's so awesome that Different has been able to benefit so much from using AWS, and we really do value our partnership. So Mina, as a company built by property managers and software engineers, can you share with us how this unique combination helps to deliver results for your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. Property management is this really operationally tricky business, right? It's dealing with a lot of problems. Anytime something goes wrong, who do you call? You call your property manager, and it's if they fix it, that's all great, and you don't think twice about it. But if they don't fix it, then it turns into a real issue. So there are times where it can honestly feel like a bit of a thankless job, right? And I think that when you put that aside, instead of focusing on it from the perspective of it's a problem to be fixed, but rather that it's an opportunity to be solved, it really changes and shifts your whole mindset around it. So I think rather than trying to think about, hey, what is this task that has to be done repeatedly over and over and over again, you just keep thinking through it and then doing it manually. That when you bring software engineers into it, the natural perspective is like, I don't want to do this task over and over again. Let me build something to achieve it, right? But it's that combination of things, is that in order for you to create a system to take work away from people, you need to know the work that people do. And that process that you're trying to automate has to be really refined and defined. And the only people who can do that are the ones who deeply understand it from the perspective of like, what does this need to what is this thing that needs to happen for the business? What is this task that needs to be done? How does it need to be done? What's the data involved with it? Who needs to be notified? Where does it go? And I think it's that combination of things, right? That you've got this really great operational team that defines processes, that refines processes, and then you've got a software engineering team that brings scale to that to take it away from a manual process into an automated one. And you need both perspectives to really make that happen, especially in a business like property management, where it's about people at the end of the day, right? And people living in their homes with problems and making that simple.
It's so interesting to hear how Different is helping ordinary customers manage their property with such ease. And Mina, your business is built on such pioneering technology and you're always innovating. So what can we expect to see next for Different? Because I'm sure you're building on something all the time.
Yeah, well, one thing I'm really excited about is over the course of the next month or so, we're going to release brand new owner and tenant apps that we've kind of rebuilt from the ground up, and really have taken advantage, I think, of, it's funny, sometimes you build something and in the nature of building startups, you sort of keep building and building and building, and then don't have the time to go back and really look at it holistically. And we built our tenant app, oh God, it's like 3.5 years ago, which feels like a lifetime when it comes to a startup. And so, we really wanted to go back, think about everything that we've learned over the past 3 years and just completely redo it so that it's, it's a very fresh, modern design, but it's also just, it really first and foremost focuses on functionality. And it's like letting you know what's going on, keeping you updated, building that through and connecting into all of our different systems. So all of those are coming out over the course of the next month or so, which is super exciting. I think another kind of big thing that you'll see from us is we're working with a number of different partners to be able to create new experiences in different areas. And so while I can't talk too much about that yet, I am excited to see more of these come out, and you'll definitely be hearing about it. And then, yeah, we've got a lot of fun things in the pipeline that I'm looking forward to releasing and sharing with everybody.
Well, I can see you smiling while you're talking, so I'm getting excited, and we will keep us posted. We want to hear what's next. But finally, at Community Chats, we do know that many of our viewers are really excited about the future of tech. And as a company born on the cloud, we wanted to ask you, what do you think will be a really cool tech trend in 2021, and what's going to happen next?
So one of the things that I think is actually really exciting, and it seems like such a small thing, is actually the way in which we initiate tech. And we're so used to taking a screen, tapping buttons, or typing on a keyboard. But actually, I think that this year is really going to be the year of voice. And it's going to be the thing that drives things in so many ways, whether it's like smart home automation or just even talking to your computer, right? Like it's funny, like watching like Star Trek or any of these shows where everything is driven by voice, and yet we still haven't reached that today. And so I'm actually really excited about how that's going to be the connection between people and tech. Is actually voice, recognizing voice, and all of the complexity that comes along with it, accents, languages, shortcuts, slang. And I think it's just it's going to be really cool kind of watching computers evolve and feel like people that you could actually interact with as well.
Well, one thing I'm really hoping for is I'm married to a German man and I don't speak German. So I'm really praying that they're going to perfect the, translation kind of technology, because it is there, but it's a bit clunky. So I hope you're right.
Yeah. How awesome would it be if we all had universal translators?
Very cool. Mina, thank you so much for being on the show today. We were really excited about having you on because actually a couple of people in my team use the different technology. So we're really excited to have you. And to all our viewers at home, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.